Is it possible to predict the future? I actually think it is. And let me share with you why. I'm really starting to believe now that what we do every single week, hey, what we do every single week decides what our future is going to look like. And that can be both good and that can also be bad, depending on how you look at it. I think it's a good thing that what we do in a week shapes our future. Because what that means is we have control over who we become, what skill sets we learn, and ultimately the legacy that we can leave behind. We do have quite a lot of control over that. I think for myself, some of the visions I have for myself as a person, I want to be able to, some of the things that I definitely want to be able to do in the future is be a business owner, be able to dance, speak 5 languages. I think about some of those things that I do imagine myself having in the future. So I look at my week and I think, what am I doing every single week that's leading me to attain those goals? And for some of them, like speaking 5 languages, one language that I've always wanted to learn but haven't learned fully is French. And I look at my week and I'm like, I haven't practiced French all week. So why would I ever be able to speak French in the future? And I'm not going to the way that it currently is. But having made that realization, now I can reflect over my week and I can kind of go back and look at my week and say, okay, where could I potentially fit in French on a weekly basis so that that future version of myself does know French? And it's already worked for me, kind of having that mindset. You know how when we grow up, there's certain skill sets that we don't have. Like I remember growing up, for the life of me, I could not dance. And people around me, they expected that I be someone who would know how to dance for whatever reason. But I didn't know it. And I thought at some points in my life that I would never be able to learn to dance. Like that's not part of my cards that I've been given, that I've been dealt. But despite that, I still signed up for dance classes. And I've been going to dance classes every single week consistently. And now I'm getting to a point where I'm like an advanced beginner or kind of getting into the intermediate territory. And it's becoming very fun and enjoyable because I know how to do it now. I have some moves, I can do things, I can have fun with it. I don't need to think as much. So now, because I've been doing it every single week, dancing with a partner is becoming one of the skill sets that shape who I am. Something that just a few years ago, I thought I might never be able to attain in my life. So I genuinely believe that what we do every single week is quite literally shaping our future. And that's why I say that we can predict the future. You know that you're not going to be a business owner in the future if you've never tried to start a business. Nothing happens out of nowhere. It all starts somewhere. So no matter where we are in our journey, the important thing is just to reflect on our week and see what can I do to incorporate one of these qualities or skill sets that I see for myself into my weekly routine. And the reason why I'm so caught up in it being weekly is I have a hard time imagining things that you do every 2 weeks or once a month and have that be part of your identity. Because it's so infrequent that I don't think it's going to stick with who you are as a person. And I might be wrong. Maybe you guys have some examples. Initially my thought was actually that what we do every single day is what shapes us and who we become. But I thought to myself, there are definitely things that I do once a week that are still quite a large part of my life. Like going to the gym. I don't go to the gym every single day. I go every 2 days. And it's still a pretty big part of my life, despite not doing it every day. So I think what we do every single week is kind of like the sweet spot for our future and what it looks like. And again, the cool thing is we then get to control what our future looks like. But I'm curious to know, do you guys think it's actually possible to predict your future? Or is it unpredictable? Like we never know what to expect? And how do you guys go about kind of, if you do believe you can shape the future, how do you guys go about setting yourself up to become that person that you ultimately see for yourself? I think that's an important piece. Like, how can you predict the future when you don't know who you want to become? So I think if we're in a stage where we don't know what we want for ourselves, I think that's the first step actually, to envision who is the person you want to become, what are ultimately your goals for yourself. And then from there, we can go back and look at, okay, how can I do one thing every single week so that I become that person? But that's all for this video. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen to kind of this realization that I had about, okay, if I'm not doing something every week, it's probably not going to happen. So what can I do to incorporate it into my week so that I do have that future, having that skill set?